Okay guys, so today I have my lovely assistant joining me again, Evan. And today we're going to be revealing the Dan White card trick, the most recent one that he did on the Jimmy Fallon show. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys how you can perform a variation of this trick. It's very similar, pretty much almost the exact same thing. And I'm going to teach you how you guys can do this at home and with your own cards. Without further ado, let's get into the performance for the trick. So, Evan over here, I have a deck of cards over here. We can shuffle it up just a little bit like so, as you can see. And basically, here we have the entire deck just like this. All the cards are completely mixed up. Actually, I think I still have the jokers in it, so let me go ahead and remove those because that will make the trick a little bit easier. And basically what's going to happen is I'm going to set down around 3 halves of the deck, just like so. So Evan, I'm going to ask you, which 2 halves do you want me to shuffle together? Just point to 2 halves. Just put your hands on 2. These 2? Okay, perfect. So basically, we're going to take this half, and we're going to turn it upside down, and we're actually going to shuffle these together face up and face down, just like so. We're going to make it super mixed up. We can totally shuffle everything, alright? Then we're gonna shuffle these 2 piles together because they're the only 2 piles remaining. Basically, just completely mix them into each other, just like so. So, Evan, basically, you can see, look, we have all these cards totally face up and face down. So, Evan, I want you to lift up about half of the cards, just like so. Just lift up about half. Perfect. Actually, just a small portion of your cards. Lift them up, turn them over, and put them on top of my half. And I'm gonna do the same thing, just like that. Now, which half do you want to turn over? This one? Perfect. We're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna shuffle these together. So, like, literally, there's no setup involved. We literally have an entire shuffled pack of cards, as you can see, right? Just like this. So, I also want to point out that over here, I have a prediction. Now, watch this. I'm going to take the paperclip off, and we're going to read the very first prediction, which says there will be 17 face-down cards. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 face down cards, alright? Let me take all those out, and we still have some more predictions to go through, alright? So, let me just square up all these cards over here and get them out of the way. Next prediction that I wrote down is this. 12 of those cards will be black. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the cards will be black. The next prediction says 6 of those cards will be spades. Of the black cards will be spades. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 spades. The final prediction says all of the red cards will be hearts. Let's see over here. Yep, there are... Oh, wait. Shoot. Crap. Okay, well, I got almost all of them, except for one card, the 3 of diamonds. Well, luckily I wrote down one more prediction. Except the 3 of diamonds. That's the trick, guys. So now for the tutorial. Alright guys, so this is how you can perform the Dan White trick at home right now. So first I'm going to teach it to you, obviously. So these are basically all the cards that you're going to need, and yes, it does have a little setup. So basically first you're going to want to get out any 4 hearts that you want, and then get out the 3 of diamonds. So basically in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to do the trick with the exact cards that he used, but of course you don't have to use the exact cards that I used, but I'm just going to teach you what I used in my performance. So I got out any 4 hearts, and then I got out the 3 of diamonds. So then I got out any 6 spades, just any 6 spades, and then any 6 clubs, alright? And that's pretty much your setup, and all of these cards combined are 17 cards, and you're just going to completely shuffle them and mix them up. And of course, you're going to have your little prediction sheets with the exact same writing on it, and basically just look back at my performance and just copy down exactly what those say, and those should do you fine. So basically, you're just going to take all these cards and just totally mix them up until they are pretty much random, just like so. Yeah, that's pretty much random. And then you have the rest of the deck, which is completely shuffled, and you also need 2 jokers for this trick. You're going to take one of your jokers, place it in the middle of the impromptu half, I guess. We'll just call it that for now. And then the other joker is actually going to go on the top of it. And then your mini 17 card stack is going to go right on top of that joker. So basically, once you have the deck, you can show the deck just like this. And right next to this joker, to the left of the joker, all these cards on top are your 17 cards stack. So basically how to start out the trick, you can take the cards out of the box. Basically, the only difference from my variation and Dan White's variation on the Jimmy Fallon show was he actually had 2 decks. He had 2 identical decks, and the first deck, he really did a real riffle shuffle. Then he kind of like spread them out like this, and he showed all the cards, and he let Jimmy push them all together. And then he, of course, did a deck switch that had this little setup on top, because you can't obviously riffle shuffle the cards perfectly and then have that setup on top. So my variation allows you to have that setup already, and this trick only has 1 deck, obviously. So my variation, you just overhand shuffle like the bottom few cards, just like so. You're just going to be peeling off just the couple of bottom cards like so, and then just put them right back on the bottom. And it pretty much gives the illusion that you're shuffling the deck. You can just tell the spectator, all right, we have a deck here, we can totally shuffle it up just like so. You're just going to be peeling off like 10 or so cards from the bottom. And then basically you can spread the cards out onto the table, and you can show, and you can be like, so we have the deck is shuffled, oh wait, I still have the 2 jokers in it. So what you're going to do is you're going to spread through, take out the joker that's closest to you first, and then you're going to go to the joker that has the one next to the setup, and you're basically going to take it out, and then you're going to separate the deck at that point and catch a pinky break right here, just like so, above your setup, just like so. From this pinky break right here, you're just going to kind of take all the cards that you're holding the break with, and you're just going to take all of them right here and just set them down into the table to your far right. And then you could split this pile in half and take about half of these, set them on the middle, and then take the rest and set them to the left. So now you have 3 piles. And be sure to remember that this is your pile with the setup. So you can get rid of the jokers now. You obviously don't need them anymore. And you can just keep this prediction in sight. So basically now, you're not really doing a magician's force, because you are letting the spectator have a free choice of which 2 piles to shuffle. But you need to have 2 outcomes for this part. For example, if they say these 2 piles, not including your setup, so if they choose 2 piles that are not your setup pile, then you can just totally shuffle them face down into face down. But let's say one of the piles that they choose to shuffle is going to be your setup pile. If they choose your setup pile as one of the piles to shuffle, you're going to want to take that pile and the other pile that they chose, and you're going to ask them which pile do they want to flip over. Now, it doesn't matter which one, but let's say they did actually choose these 2 piles here, and let's say that they wanted to flip over this one. So it really doesn't matter, because now what you're going to be doing is actually just shuffling the cards like face up and face down. And all these face down cards now are actually your setup right over here with the 3 of diamonds and everything right there. So just like that. But you have to actually really remember which side the cards are on, because now you don't want to mess this part up now, because you don't want to shuffle these cards together face up or face down, because if you shuffle these cards here and these cards here regularly, the face down cards will actually get mixed into your setup, and that is not what you want at all. So now what you can do is you can actually ask the spectator to choose which pile to flip over again, and this time it really doesn't matter, because you can either flip over this pile and then shuffle these together, because that won't mess it up, or you can flip over this pile and shuffle these together, and that will not mess anything up. So let's just say they said that, and then you can shuffle all of that together, and that will not mess up anything. So basically, if you want the spectator to shuffle the 2 piles that are not your setup pile, just watch the Dan White performance, because that's actually what Jimmy Fallon chooses, and that's the outcome that you should do in that case. But I just showed you the case if they chose one of the piles being your setup pile. So now you basically have already, I mean, you can end it here. Like, you have 17 cards already face down, and all these cards will actually be all of your setup cards with the 3 of diamonds and the spades and everything else just like that. So now, basically what's going to happen is just a little cool, it's sort of like a false shuffle, but it's not really a false shuffle. It's like a false flipping over triumph shuffle, pretty much. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to ask the spectator to cut about half of the cards off, and they do. As they cut it off, you're gonna kind of drop your hand to the table, and you're gonna let your wrist turn over, just like this. And you can set the deck down and just turn the pile over. But they're obviously going to be holding their pile the right way that they just cut it off. They're not going to be turning it over yet. You're going to ask them to cut a little portion, like 5 or 6 cards from their pile. You're going to do the same, but now your pile is actually turned the opposite direction. And you're going to do this process with them. So you're going to cut about 5 or 6 cards. You're going to ask them to flip over the pile, and then place it on top of mine, and I'll place mine on top of yours, just like that. Now you're going to ask them, which pile do you want to turn over? And yes, you have to do this to maintain the setup. And now it actually doesn't matter which one they flip over. So let's say they wanted this one to flip over. It really doesn't matter, because what you're doing now is actually just putting the cards back together right where you started, because now you actually still have all the 17 cards, just kind of like in a different order. But obviously that doesn't matter. You just didn't want to have any indifferent cards flipped over with your stack. So now basically you can have the spectator cover up the cards, and you're pretty much done now, because now all you have to do is take your paperclip off your prediction, and you basically just read off one by one. So there will be 17 face down cards is the first one. So I'll just go ahead and pull them out. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, just like that. And you can get rid of the rest of the deck now. You don't need it anymore. So now the next one says 12 of those cards will be black. So you're going to square them up, flip them over, and of course these will all be shuffled because you did all that shuffling earlier, but that's what you want because you want it to look totally random. So you're just going to count off the 12 black cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just like that. So now the next one is 6 of those black cards will be spades. So then you just count those. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spades, just like that. And then second to last one is all of the red cards will be hearts. And basically now you just kind of want to make sure that your 3 of diamonds is not on top. So basically if that happens, you just want to make sure after you're dealing out the black cards to just kind of like mix it up just like this and just kind of lose that 3 of diamonds in the middle. So now when you show your prediction saying all the red cards will be hearts, now you can show like there's already a heart on top, and then you can just kind of be like, see, I was totally right, and then kind of just act like you messed up, just like Dan White did. Pull out the 3 of diamonds, just kind of like think for a little bit like you messed up. Then you can finally reveal that your final prediction says accept the 3 of diamonds, and that's just a total kicker ending. And now you can just totally let the spectators examine the deck, examine everything. There's nothing to hide now. But in Dan White's case, he did a deck switch, so he wasn't totally clean. But of course, he didn't let Jimmy Fallon check his pockets or anything like that. But this trick, you can end up totally clean, no gimmicks or anything like that. Yeah, guys, so that was Dan White's Jimmy Fallon trick. So I hope you guys liked it, and I really hope you guys can perform this to your friends and family. I think they'll really, really get a kick out of it. So hopefully you guys like the trick, and see you guys for my next video. Bye.